Danish aristocrat Tycho Brahe stands as a romantic character in astronomy's history. Sharp and haughty, yet simultaneously the initial observer of the 1572 supernova, he gained fame and constructed an observatory plus a castle upon an island in the Danish Strait. He disagreed with Nicolaus Copernicus concerning the notion that Earth circles the Sun. Yet luckily, he selected as his heir Johannes Kepler, who accepted Copernican views. These three figures, alongside Galileo Galilei, toppled the old Ptolemaic model and shifted Earth from the universe's center. Of them, Brahe was the most traditional, his brilliance lying rather in the patience and modern nature of his viewing and the method he organized his data regarding stars. If Nicolaus Copernicus was the top astronomer of the 16th century's first half, notes Thomas Kuhn, Tycho Brahe represented astronomy's incontestable authority in the second half of that same century. And judging purely by the efficiency criterion, Brahe was the greatest. Tyge, later Latinized as Tycho, Brahe arrived on December 14th, 1546, in Skåne, a zone belonging to Denmark then, and is now on Swedish soil. A noble scion of the finest lineage, Tycho was one of 10 kids of Otto Brahe and Beta Bille, but was to be reared by his father's brother, Jürgen Brahe, and his spouse, who had no offspring. Tycho took courses at the Lutheran University of Copenhagen. To guarantee an education in liberal arts, he attended the Trivium, classes in rhetoric, logic, and grammar, and Quadrivium, astronomy, arithmetic, music, and geometry, preparatory for law studies, as his uncle desired. Yet, following his witnessing of the solar eclipse predicted for August 21st, 1560, Brahe felt pulled to astronomy study. Apparently, this annoyed the family, for in 1562, when he departed for the University of Leipzig, a tutor was employed to compel him to study law. During this time, Brahe studied science secretly, and given his age, he was still a teen, the tale that he would sneak out to inspect stars in the sky while his mentor slept seems totally plausible. More vital is the fact that, following the observation of the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter in August 1563, Brahe noted the grave calculation faults in astronomical tables of that era. He aimed to fix them, and this wish marked the shaping of the man whom Kepler deemed a phoenix of astronomers. Back in Copenhagen by 1565, upon his uncle's death, Brahe started studying astronomy at the University of Wittenberg. In 1566, he was involved in a duel, resulting in him losing a nose section. After this bad event, Brahe wore a metal prosthesis, and it is intriguing to note that some centuries after his death, in 1901, when his corpse was dug up, it was found that bone around the nasal piece was covered by a green film. This was due to corrosion and proved that the prosthesis he had worn, which for a long time was thought to be of gold or silver, must have held copper. Post-sunset, on a clear evening, on November 11th, 1572, Brahe wrote, "I noted that a fresh and odd star, beating the other stars in brightness, shines directly above my head. Tracking the star's path with a sextant's help through the winter and meticulously logging positions of the sun, moon, and planets, Brahe found that for this star, he could not run a parallax measurement. This meant the respective star could not be placed near the moon. Further, since it did not move, it could not be a comet, nor was it fixed to any of the spinning planetary spheres. Thus, it belonged to an eighth sphere of fixed stars. And indeed, it sparkled like a star. But how was it that something new had emerged in a sky presumed to be perfect and immutable? Tycho's star, as it came to be named after he printed the pamphlet De Nova Stella, On the New Star, was a first addition to the heavens seen since Hipparchus's time in Greek antiquity. Later, it was tracked by astronomers and scholars from all over Europe who admitted that some adjustments would be needed even after the star vanished from the visual field in the next year's spring asterisk. In 1576, Brahe took from Denmark's king, Frederick II, the offer of a pension and a home situated on Hven Island in the Danish Strait. Here Brahe established Uraniborg, the castle of the heavens, and later built a second observatory, Stjerneborg, castle of the stars, where he dwelt and toiled for the next 20 years. Though he did not own a telescope, until the invention of which a generation would pass, Brahe, helped by some assistants, used a notable set of calibrated tools, including quadrants, circumferential wheels, and a huge rotating sphere made of rings. In 1577, the year he got a clock with a second hand as a gift, a comet with a long tail crossed the sky. This sparked many comments and forecasts regarding a near cataclysm. In its crossing of the sky, the comet gave new proof supporting revising the Ptolemaic system. Brahe stressed that the comet must be at a distance much larger than the Moon, and thus cannot pass through the earthly atmosphere. Equally vital was the fact that the respective comet did not map an orbit, which meant it had pierced the crystalline celestial spheres. Finally, Brahe printed a work in which he argued the impossibility of the existence of such invisible spheres. While the comet of 1577, like the others he watched later, could be deemed proof supporting Copernicus's theory regarding the heliocentric solar system, Brahe continued to back a geocentric model. Finally, he formed the Tyconic system in which Earth and Moon are at the center, and the other planets spin around them. Though it was wrong, mathematically it fit known facts as well as Copernicus's theory. After Frederick II's death, Brahe fought with his successor to the throne, King Christian I, so that he lost both his home and his job. In 1597, uneasy and loaded down by his instruments, he left Hven and 2 years later reached Prague. There he came under the wing of Rudolf II, the Holy Roman Emperor who prized intellectuals, so he gave him a castle and a new stipend. It was a stroke of luck that in 1600, Brahe took Johannes Kepler as an aide, for his life was nearing its end. In 1601, he suffered a stroke during dinner and died 10 days later on October 24th. On his deathbed, he gave Kepler his data about the stars, and especially the research regarding planet Mars, which he had guarded fiercely, ordering him to finish his work and print it. In 1603, Kepler edited and published Brahe's work Astronomy Instaurati pro Gymnasmata, Introduction to the New Astronomy, which held the catalogue of 777 stars. Kepler used Brahe's data to craft the work of larger scale, the Rudolphine Tables, named so in honor of the emperor, published in 1627. First buried in Prague, Brahe's earthly remains are now in a vault near a church in the old town square. And today, on the island of Hven, which now belongs to Sweden and is named Hven, there is another commemorative monument. In 1930, a museum was started, but of Uraniborg, the castle of the heavens, nothing remained but a ditch.